Akunsaunt Ebbed, episode 30. Shit, I've got everything all fucked up.
Your streaming
shit, everything's fucked up.
I have
That's a hell of a message.
Everything fucked up. Yeah, I have the titles all wrong. I have the numbering all wrong.
Tom, you just did it again, but closer up.
God damn it. Akunsaunt Ebbed, episode 33.
Revenge of the Sith. Sometimes when things look black, I like to take my game a little darker. With this, The Guide to the Black Hand for Vampire the Masquerade 20th edition.
That book is so black, I couldn't see the title.
They only had one print point that was like $50. It was either $50 or PDF. I was like, wow, you guys really like no soft cover, huh?
I mean, that's the same strategy Paizo's doing now, right?
Yes, it is the exact same strategy. Hard back or nothing, bitches.
Yep.
You're either in or, I don't know, maybe you're playing Shadowrun. Who knows?
Alright, so, who remembers where we left off last session?
It still says you're screaming.
It'll correct itself in a moment.
And we just caught an art thief and we're being paid.
We'll open the bar on the 13th. We're currently taking business management classes. We have the cantina manager helping us hire people for the bar. Zug created an amazing contract and I negotiated it. We retained the last right of refusal and everything. The manager's name is Vespasiano.
Oh, that great name.
His cousin is going to be our manager, a Vinny named Quintino. They each get a 15% share of the business. We have 3 different options of Fam Hands missions, and we decide to do the Ruxpin mission because they've been having an issue with goods stolen from the GPPF and being sold, and the creature seems to appear different with every purchase. Zlatica Ruxpin we meet with to get more information. She has a lot of magical items. They have a system to track shape-changing creatures, but it's not working. Case number 34D425, aka Teddy.
Or Sylvia. We're going with Sylvia, we said.
Okay. We read through the dossier of people who we can interview. There's a lot of art that's been recovered, as well as very valuable replication devices, etchers. We start by interviewing the jailbird Vendolin. We bought an etcher from a young gnomish girl and found her on the net. No, he did that. We talked to Bronco, who has a friend who might be able to help us. He gives us a burner bottle, which he will follow up with us. And then this session, we need to get more leads.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. You get 60,000 XP, Whitney.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Charles. Looking out for me.
So that recap is going to be worth 200 XP.
Woo!
Why?
Because all of you are slightly higher in level. And I want to overvalue the recaps.
Wait, at least... did we level up?
No.
Oh.
But I've been trying to... I want to scale recap XP as well as roleplay XP.
Okie dokie.
Alright. So yeah, you guys are in Ruxpin territory. And you have met with Vendolin, who was largely just there for informational purposes. And Bronco, who managed to get you one contact towards what you might need.
So are we going to hear back from him on the bottle?
In time. But there are other leads to follow up on.
From
Does anybody
dossier?
remember what those other leads?
No, it's been 2 weeks. I forgot them.
Are you talking about the dossier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's check the dossier for other.
What does it reveal to us?
Well, then it depends on what you want to go after next. Do you want to go after more art stuff? Do you want to go after some of the items?
Any
What do y'all
preferences?
think?
I'd say other items, like an etcher.
Okay.
I think that's a good idea, actually.
All right, hold on one sec. Let's see here. So, if you are looking for one of the etchers, somebody who bought one of the etchers, that would be Dejana.
What?
Dejana.
Dijon?
Dajana.
No, like Dijon, but with an A.
It's
No.
like delivery, but an actual person.
It's not delivery, it's a person.
It's a person. The Jana.
So she bought an etcher?
Yes.
Fucking Dejana. What do you think? It's just her buying an etcher.
She, as some of the others, lives near the GPPF, closer to the southern end. So here. I don't know if you're all able to see the map at the moment. Let me make sure.
Bong,
Whereas the last person that you met with was up here.
bong.
And as you head over there, the first thing you'll notice is that this specific address is not a home. It is a business address.
Huh.
What day is it?
This is happening basically between now and when you guys reopen the bar at the brothel. So we really don't have an exact date. This whole story is just happening in between, and then we will cut to the reopening the bar. Well, once this is completed,
But I need to make sure to perform on my appropriate days.
and that's kind of being attached now that you have a schedule, since we're kind of gonna push through this week.
Okay. So what kind of business is it?
So she works in. This is a management office for the building that you are currently standing in front of, which has a number of homes above it, and a couple of retail establishments to the left and right of the door that enters into her management office that kind of takes up the back portion of the building.
Okay.
So this is like a management,
like
outsourcing
a
company?
building management company.
Oh, I see. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that. Okay.
All right. Who wants to hit her up?
I'm all about it. Let's do this.
Yeah, who has the highest
Bless
diplomacy
you.
in the group?
I thought it was our Bardique friend.
Mm-hmm.
What is your diplomacy?
You give yourself wine and you give me hot flavored water.
If you don't want it, I'll
Hot
drink it.
Flavored water.
I will not drink it, so you're welcome to it.
Okay.
What's hot flavored? You mean literally hot flavored water?
It's hot
Yeah.
chocolate, but it to her tastes more like water.
It's just so thin, also.
My diplomacy is 10. I think you have me beat by a couple 3, right, Whitney?
All right, I'm gonna knock on the door.
I mean,
I will join
Whitney's
you to be the diplomacy corps.
in a previous roll, Whitney rolled a 1 and got an 18.
Yeah, so 17. Wow. Hello, group spokesperson.
On a side note, James, it was disturbing because the first 2 times the monkey pushed the laptop off the table, Michelle sneezed at the same time, and I was like, oh no, is there a sound attached to it? But there wasn't.
All right, so the 5 of you step in to the management office, and she is there's somebody seated behind the desk. It is a young woman with very humanoid looking features, except that her skin has a bit of a very, very soft greenish tint to it.
Wait, good day there. Are you Dejana?
I am. And you are?
My name is Pax, and this is my crew.
And you're here on business? Are you looking for an office or for a place to stay, to sleep?
Neither. We had a couple questions for you.
Okay. I don't normally just simply answer questions to people off the street. What,
We're not people off the street. We came from the road.
Presumably, yes.
Mhm.
The road is a street.
Different.
I like where this is going. I
it's-
think I want to point out that avenues are a third kind.
Are we in private right now?
Yes.
We're in private.
This office is relatively small. It's basically got a few desks, some filing cabinets.
Well, we're trying to help solve a problem that Ruxpin has been having with some goods disappearing, and we were wondering if we could just ask you a couple questions.
There's some issues with... I will tell you when to make the rolls, please.
How am I supposed to remember that? You don't always tell me when to do things, and then you're like, why didn't you do that?
No, I told you don't use skills when you should be using them, like saying I'm going to sneak around and do this thing.
What?
Because you have stealth, and you're not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm not... Now I'm more confused.
It's all right.
And all
Let
I
me
can
help you
see
out.
is Charles's nose and below.
I don't understand. That I know of, Ruxpin hasn't been having a lot of things disappearing. But I think what you might be asking about is some kind of issue with something I bought recently that is allegedly stolen.
You got it.
Ah, wow. Right to the chase.
The etcher.
Yes. I wondered
Can
why...
you tell us about when and where you bought it and all of the
guards
pertinent
hadn't
details?
come. Figures they'd outsource the job. Let me guess. Your hands?
No, I'm an entire body.
I was a little confused by that too.
Fam hands, but
Oh, fam hands. Ah, thank y'all.
You,
I wasn't confused. I just
You
wanted to
work
be
with
understanding.
the fam hands, correct?
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Do you?
No.
Why do you sound so old and gravelly? You look so young and pretty.
I'm very tired.
I'm sorry. Can I get you a glass of warm, hot flavored water?
Because as you all know, we are carrying around warm, hot flavored water with us wherever we go.
You never know when it could come in handy. Warm, hot.
Can I
flavored.
offer you some dirty, smelly, lukewarm water while we're at
I mean, you have that stuff that's been filtered through a boot, so that's kind of what that is.
Oh, so good and delicious, that boot water.
She sighs and takes a sip out of something from a glass.
You having a hard day?
I mean, it's an especially... Who's breathing heavy? Thank
To
you.
me?
Yeah.
Yes. You're Darth Vader over there.
Charles came back to life.
The Force awakens.
The
I
face.
could give you a little performance if that would cheer you up. I play piccolo and I play ukulele.
I'm not looking for any musical accompaniment to my work.
No, I just one time. I would not normally sit here and play during your work.
Listen, I bought something that I thought I was buying under acceptable terms. And then it got taken away from me and declared as a fraudulently purchased item.
It must have been frustrating.
It was, especially considering the number of things around buildings I own that need to be repaired or modified that get shipped in incorrectly. And an etcher at that price was a perfect tool for what I needed. These things are rather difficult to get your hands on otherwise.
Your fame hands. Yeah.
No. My regular hands.
So, who did you buy it from?
I was looking for somebody who had one. Preferably one that wasn't on the registry.
Oh, you wanted an off-the-books version.
Yes.
Why is that?
So, when you end up running a business like mine, it can sometimes be easier to buy things broken and fix them than it can be to buy things brand new, or, well, there isn't much of a previously used market for some of the things I need for the quality of establishments that I'm maintaining. And so an etcher allows me to rewrite things in the way I need to without having to affect my finances dramatically or having to pay additional fees for things.
Well,
Somebody
it's
want to
a
give
bummer
me a
that you
sense
lost
motive
it.
there?
Me?
Anybody? All of you are listening.
I am, and I want to give that sense motive.
Ah,
I'm listening to this wonderful justification. I bought stolen goods. I got busted. Now I'm pissed. I don't know which one I hit, so
No.
tell me, did I
You
do
first hit
sense
sleight of hand and then you hit sense motive.
motive? Okay.
Everybody,
You got
look
the
at
same
those
roll.
12s. Holy mother of God.
Oh, we're all right in the middle. That's
Yeah,
What about
well,
Harcourt?
my roll 20 dumped.
okay. I'll give it a sec. She'll continue on a bit.
I just want to thank the person who did all those monkey things that you guys were posting. Those are awesome.
You're welcome.
The
There it is.
Please get better than a 12.
But that was diplomacy.
No, that was, yeah.
you want
Did we
sense
all
motive.
just-
Damn
Did we
it,
all
it-
just whiff it?
No, mine. Come on. Where is it? I don't know how I hit diplomacy. I was over sense motive. Those two links don't even start with the same letter.
I'm
Yeah. My
All
sense
right.
motives are awesome.
All right, that's pretty good.
So none of
Even
us have
better
any
than a
idea what's happening.
No, none of you get the. There's something in the undertones of what she's saying, but none of you are really picking up on what she's got between the lines of what she's saying. Now, I've already been punished for what's happened. I lost the item and paid a substantial fee. So I don't really think there's much more cooperation I need to give.
Ooh, man. What a surly person.
Maybe if there were some restitution to me, if we were to capture this culprit, then I could, I don't know, feel some level of sympathy for your problem here. But considering that any time one of these people is brought to justice, I don't see anything recouped for myself. I simply see the money I lost on an etcher and the money that I lost on the fines I had to pay out.
So basically, you're looking for a reimbursement for the money you spent on the etcher?
Something.
So you
I mean, I could
want-
probably knowledge law. Maybe there's some sort of loophole I know of.
Sure, give me a knowledge law.
How much was the etcher?
These things are in like the hundreds of thousands of gold.
Okay.
Terrible.
Even
rolls
on the
today.
black market, like when they're off the books.
They're often more expensive. One of the other actually you wouldn't know this, so I can't give you that info. So on a knowledge law of about 15, actually, you know there's probably not a lot of like recourse she would have unless you caught the person, and then maybe she could file a lawsuit against that person if they stole the money. Like, she could say, like, oh, you sold me fraudulent goods, you need to give me my money back. But if the person who has the money no longer has the money, it's trying to get blood from a turnip. She's not going to be able to get her money back. And there's clearly not, you can't take out insurance against buying, what you probably know are stolen goods.
All right, so she wants like a bribe from us or whatever.
No, she genuinely wants her money back.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's
Yeah.
no way we can give
PayPal.
her hundreds of thousands of gold.
Maybe there's some other way to change her mind, or maybe she's just too upset.
We have some positions that'll be open for ladies of the night. Do you have any interested in
There we go. Let's insult her while we're at it.
alternately employed? It's quite good money.
She reaches into a drawer and opens it up and sets a large bar of gold in front of her, and then closes the drawer. Now listen, I understand that you come from a simpler place, but I have money, and my time is effectively money. If you're coming in here and you're going to talk down to me, then I'm definitely not going to be very helpful.
Oh,
I have
sorry,
more
this
of
wasn't meant
these
be
to procure.
Insulting. I think quite highly of people of the night.
Whoa. I have a question. You have more bars of gold you need to procure?
I mean, I'm earning money at a pretty steady rate.
Wait, did I miss something? What do you do here?
I manage a number of buildings throughout the town, or throughout this area.
Through this area. Oh, what kind of buildings?
A number of the, all the buildings here are kind of the same style of building, right? Just a bit of an architectural difference from...
I don't mean architecturally.
I own this building, the two next to it, and several others around the area.
So just buildings in general, or a specific, brand of business?
I mean, you'll see my name on each of the buildings.
So just buildings in general.
Yes.
No, you lost my interest.
Why? Well, no, I'm curious. You have my curiosity piqued.
No, we are entrepreneurs ourselves, and we only have the one building to manage. He holds up two fingers when he says one, by the way.
That's very good.
So we only have the
I
one
love when
building to
Arclight does
manage.
this.
So I was just wondering if maybe, I hear that real estate is the place to be, and I was just wondering if it's a specific type of building, and I thought maybe, well, the one building we manage is just a specific type of business, and I don't want to be lumped in with all these other businesses when I'm trying to get my one business going.
Ah, so you're looking to diversify your business investments.
That's a possibility, yes.
Well, I could potentially help you with that. I do work with a number of people who've started up some new businesses that are always looking for more capital or more stakeholders. If you had some knowledge in what they were working on.
In the knowledge of what your stakeholders are working on, or what?
The knowledge of what my stakeholders are working on.
Like what? What kind of things are they working on?
So, some of the establishments I have do a wide variety of things. Are you familiar with, how do you call this? Clothing for your pets.
Oh, why, yes, as it turns out, we make clothing for our pets on the side. Don't go through.
It did go through. Oh, really?
As a matter of fact, the young lady speaking to you here is our chief designer.
You don't need a second bluff with this. You don't need another one to go with it.
Oh, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
You might ruin it, but sure.
I know.
I like where this is going, and I think it should be allowed.
No,
to run its
that's
course.
still fine. Going off of what you lasted.
So maybe she could tell you more about it.
Shit.
Well,
This
it'd
is
be
so good.
it would not be less for me. It'd be more for my client. But I could put you into contact with them.
Yes, that would be awesome. We would love that.
Well, if
I would go to PAX for my.
if I can give you that, if I give you this contact information, if this is of some mutual benefit to us, then perhaps I could be a little bit more forthcoming with who it is that I contacted and why.
That would be wonderful.
That would be awesome. Thanks.
She picks up a small, or opens up opens up a lower drawer, pulls a piece of paper out of it after rifling through it for a moment, and sets the piece of paper down and slides it across the table. And there is ink on it that appears in a very strange set of characters. Let me double check Meg's languages real quick and see if Meg has this on hand.
Oh, out of the game? Whitney, you're welcome.
I'm gonna pretend my character doesn't understand that's a bluff. Wow, you've gotten into pet clothing? That's phenomenal.
My notes now state, for some odd reason, Harcourt bluffs and says I helped design pet costumes.
They didn't say costumes. I believe they said clothing. This is day-to-day wear for the on-the-go pet.
All right.
I mean, raincoats and booties are important. Keep dogs healthy and happy.
I like this. I want to invest in your model, Whitney. I want to be a partner in your pet clothing line. I'm tired of all my basilisks and having poor little cold paws.
So you would recognize this language, Meg, as Aklo.
Ooh, Aklo.
I did not expect you to have that, but I forgot you're moving towards old Draconic.
Baby, celebrating on New Year's Eve.
This
Does Aklo carry the sinister reputation it does in other games?
It does indeed. Aklo is a language of a civilization that's kind of long been lost. It's believed that many of the creatures that reside in the Great Below have either been kind of killed off or no longer associate with people up here. So it would be very, very unusual to find anything in Aklo print, let alone somebody who's also able to read Aklo.
Sorry, and there's Aklo print on some of the clothing?
No, she has a letter that she's handing over as kind of a, quid pro quo. You guys help me out with this other person, and I'll share some of the information I have with you about the exchange that I made.
And the other person is the pet clothing designer?
Yes.
Why is she giving us a letter written in Aklo?
I'm getting to that.
I was
You're welcome for the reminder.
Holy jump the gun, Batman. She was just so excited. Her new career as a pet clothing designer. So far, this is the venture I'd like this the most. You know what I mean? The most best.
Let's give up the
pet
whole, whore business. Pet clothing.
Yeah, I'm. You guys can do the whore thing. I'd like to invest in the pet clothing.
I mean, we could do both.
Yes, the whore business
whores
is
and
paid
pet
for
clothing.
the pet clothing. Yes.
So, I got this letter when I was having a friend of mine do some research. It happened to get dropped off in her mailbox, and I gave it a read over. I was rather surprised to see I haven't had reason to use this language in a very long time. I just happened to, and she reaches up on a bookshelf nearby and pulls down a book that is kind of like an Aklo translation book. It took me some time to figure things out. But once I did, I was quite excited. The idea of being able to get my hands on an etcher like this would be very useful. I didn't have to go through proper channels. I could just acquire it and get the things done that I needed to get done. And I figured this probably worked out as a very efficient language for these kinds of exchanges. It's a very private language that people are unaware of. Meg, you can look over the letter. And the letter says, basically, I have what you're looking for. I believe my price is fair. And there's a set of numerals that are written there, but the numerals are actually written out in Terran. But you can read Terran as well. So the price on this is about... hold on a sec.
Call this our keeper voice tone.
The price on this was about 450,000 gold. Then it continues. It has had no owners, and it is untraceable.
So I'm gonna study it. And I go, I could understand. I mean, first off, impressive that it's written in Aklo, and then the bottom is in Terran. You're an impressive individual because you read both those languages, which people aren't usually able to read both of them.
Well, I know to recognize them. I'm not as good at reading them. I'm good at handling translations. I get a lot of paperwork in here in a wide variety of languages, and so I tend to take the time to read through a few different ones here and there just to keep my mind ready. You never know when somebody's going to come in and wants to try to sneak something by you in a contract that says something about, that might have some infernal or abyssal written in there, disguised as another word. Some of those abyssal words can sometimes blend really well over with, some dwarven or some draconic that somebody might prefer to write in.
Yeah, so, next thing you know, you got demons living in your basement.
Exactly. Don't want that kind of thing happening.
No demons in our basement. Definitely no demonic equipment. Did
you show anybody this missive? Because the missive says it's never been owned. I mean, you were led to believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is a new item, correct?
No one really came asking for things except the etcher. They came in, demanded I turn over the etcher. When I refused and said I did not have one, they sort of, presented warrant and took what they would.
I'm going to ask our legal expert here. So this letter says that it was a new item. I mean, does she get anything because of exculpatory circumstances? Would there be a case there?
Let's find out.
Nope.
You didn't tell him to roll, and he rolled, and it was fine.
Diplomacy does work differently. Okay.
Clothing designing is really tiring,
So hold on, real quick, to help explain. To help explain when and when not you're going to roll, either one, I will prompt you. When you're in a social situation, I'll kind of prompt you for when the time to insert the skill check is socially. But if you have a specific question that you want asked or answered, and it's a knowledge related, you sort of ask the question and then follow up with the appropriate roll.
Right, the knowledge question I want answered is, where did you get this? From who? And what were the details? And then I use diplomacy.
That's not a knowledge check.
Yeah, I'm using my diplomacy to check her knowledge.
That is an information gathering check. Why did Meg roll fly?
Oh, I just, I just wanted to test it out.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to relay the full amount of that letter. The fact that the number is written in Terran, then the rest of the body. And But yeah, I can't imagine that you're getting many contracts with Aklo in them at all.
No, it never comes across the desk, and I didn't think much of it at first, but having someone remind me that it's suspicious does make me think you're absolutely right. I mean, what would know Aklo in the first place? Most things that have known this language have been long gone from this place. You're welcome to take the note. I don't know if it will help you at all.
Well, thank you.
So
I appreciate
how did you know how to meet up with this individual?
Well, once we received the note, she opens up the drawer again and pulls out an ad listing that she pulls out like a ad, like basically a piece of newsletter that has like a little listing in it, wherein give me a perception or a linguistics check if you have ranks in linguistics.
Oh, yes.
Is this for everybody?
Yes.
Come on, 3.
Ooh, yeah. So, Pax, you notice that, like, the sentence structure of this listing is very peculiar. Like, it's arranged in so many rows and doesn't seem to express anything in particular. And when you point that out, Meg, you'll immediately notice that the first letter of each line spells out a location in Aklo.
Wow. This is some like spy stuff here. I mean, the first letter of each one spells out a location in Aklo. So that's why this...
When I got the letter, it's a bit of an old tradition. The idea of leaving a letter in... Normally it would be... Are you familiar with the term thieves' cant?
Yes.
There were some old books I used to read about. Some very, very old books that talked about the goings-on in the town and the thieves and the language they would use. And the letter was very reminiscent of that. So I just, on a whim, decided I would put this in there with a location and a time. And that I would meet at that. I would wait around at that time and just see if somebody showed up. And sure enough, they did. Can I get a sense motive in that story? Or from that story?
Yeah, I wouldn't...
All right, so Megan Pax, as you hear her recant the story, you already know that the physical details of the person are meaningless because this person has a different face each time and a different shape each time. But what you do notice about this is that to do something that precise, and especially looking at the two you've already encountered so far, you're starting to notice a pattern of somebody who knows kind of the behavioral methods of a person, and then is kind of like selling the item to them in the way that they would probably be the most receptive to buying it or to like following up on it.
They're a good salesperson.
Almost an exceptional salesperson because they have
too good.
Yeah, they have information that maybe they shouldn't have. Like, how would somebody know that she's read books about these specific topics?
They're a mind reader.
Wow. It's like we're dealing with the Russians. They've been monitoring her, and then they found something she wanted to get money. That's how they work.
Hopefully this will help.
Does she have a business card? Do you have a business card?
She does indeed. She will slide over to you. It's a little like slip of paper that you can pop into the top of your bottle, and it will
nice.
store her details in your bottle.
Is her last name A's?
No, her last name is Ruxpin.
Oh, I was thinking Dijon A's. Okay.
She has a sister named Mayo.
Patty. I that was a good pun. I wish we would have gotten that, Whitney. I appreciate it. Guys, I can't stop thinking about going into the dog clothing market right now.
Well, yeah, because it's just playing on repeat in Discord. So she gave me the contact information for this person.
No, she gave you her contact information.
Right, but she was supposed to give me something for the.
She doesn't have. Oh yeah, she gives you that information as well.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you think would be helpful for us in our search?
I don't really have much else I could help you out with. Please make sure to follow up with my friends there.
We will follow up.
What's their name?
Her name is...
Ooh, this is gonna be good.
Loading.
Jadwiga. That is a Slavic name.
Rosina.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go follow up with Rosina because we've got to get into this dog clothing business, pet clothing business. I think the first one we should design, it should be like a thing for a little dog, and it should say, "My other pet is a hellhound."
Well, is that what you want to focus on right now while you're on a timed mission?
No.
No, but we do need to derail this train that is in my head before I use game resources to design pet clothing.
I'm the designer, darling.
I know you are.
Excuse me, I'm the artist here.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, Harcourt said I'm the designer. Maybe I just have the ideas, Galfine draws them, and then Meg crafts them. I think that's the chain of production.
I'm going to
Doug
take up knitting.
can help
in my
marketing
spare
them,
time
and
for
Harcourt
clothing.
is the salesman.
Oh, I don't sell anything.
You just
Selling
sold
involves
me as a
diplomacy.
pet clothing designer.
Selling involves diplomacy.
Actually, selling is a bluff-based skill. Or profession. Which is wisdom-based.
Selling involves me wanting to give people things.
It involves you wanting to take as much money from people as you can.
Yeah, it's just easier
Perfect.
to do it. It's
I
easier
mean,
just to scale
in
it.
some ways, isn't that what sales is?
Yeah, but you still got to turn over a product.
I mean, if you're GE in some cases, you don't actually have to turn over a product.
All right.
He doesn't
so
want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly correct.
I don't want to sell anything.
Who's
bought,
next
sold, or
on our
processed.
dossier?
So, if you... Well, that, again, depends. Art or item?
What do you guys think? Those of you who are awake.
Okay, so
And have a
let's
face.
go.
And have a face. Let's go with that.
Let's go with a piece of art and see how that went down. You know what I mean? Did they get a letter in ACO? Did they get a letter in a different?
What
You know what I mean?
value of art? High, low, mid?
Are they even doing low?
I mean, low comparatively. Like, there is crazy high to, like, what's still pretty high, but that's, like, the lower end.
I think we should do low to mid because the Etcher was so expensive. It'd be good to see something on the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
I like what you're saying there. That's why you're our dog clothing designer.
That's just true.
Pet clothing, not only
Pet
dogs,
clothing, that's right.
ferrets, fish. You know,
Display
Finish
your
clothing.
yeah, fish clothing.
beholders get cold in the summer. All that anti-magic.
It's very loud typing, sir. Are you doing it aggressively?
Yes. My keyboard is just loud in general.
Yeah, just like your personality.
So, the next...
Tax on your pets.
The lowest value piece of art that you find was purchased by a gentleman by the name of Milohica.
Milokika.
Hold on. How do you spell that?
Milojica.
That fucking guy.
Milosh.
He's always on the... Always trying to get something for nothing.
Okay, where do we find him?
So you can head over to his address. He actually is towards the farther north end, near the point at which the three sections meet. And
let's head over.
when you get to where he lives, the building here is kind of stylized a lot differently than the other buildings nearby. It kind of brings in some design aspects of both Rurik and the GPPF in with the kind of like modern skyscraper theme of this. So like there are large stone pillars that run up the side, making it look almost like a fortress with these like tower caps that are very dome shaped, bringing in and brightly colored. And the windows are kind of carved out, more like more medieval in like a medieval styling, with very with stone etching around the outside.
Okay.
And the doors are about twice the size of traditional doors. They stand about 12 feet tall, and it's a pair of double doors that lead in.
It's quite an impressive building.
And there are rather large, what look to be possibly orc gentlemen, sort of dressed in full plate, that are simply doormen that will open the door as you come towards the building.
Ooh, are they potential matches for Galfine that we should try and do a...
Wow, see, I didn't even jump on that.
Or are they only interested in pure full-bred orcs?
They don't seem to notice anything. Just their job just seems to be to open the door and hold the spear that's in their other hand. But they don't seem to look at you as you come through. They just seem to kind of stare straight ahead.
What happened to the sock puppet?
What about the sock puppet?
It's gone.
It's not gone.
Where is it?
I don't know. What's this have to do with the orcs opening the doors?
Okay, so we can head in?
Yeah. As you head inside, this looks almost like you're walking into like the royal chambers of a king. Seated at the far end, there is what almost looks like almost like a smaller version of a lord's throne, with a like large stone desk that kind of wraps around it.
And this is the person who bought the cheap art.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And there is a rather older looking dwarven man seated behind the desk. He's got like a very long graying beard and this very like dark or bright silver hair that kind of rolls back into a set of braids that kind of run down his back and then across. They're wrapped around his waist where he sits, and they kind of blend into his beard.
What?
Yeah. Dwarven hair.
Do you really have the kind of memory that you will remember how you described him later on?
Probably.
That's bananas. So he's got magical hair.
No, he doesn't have magical hair. He has well cared for dwarven hair.
Well kempt.
Yes.
You bought some of that hair stuff from the dude in the other game?
No, that would just keep it wet. It's WW Wethead.
That's good stuff there.
Why, hello, we're looking for Miloika.
Oh! What brings you here?
We're just looking for a little information on some art that you had purchased.
I didn't purchase any art.
Did someone purchase art in your name?
You said you were looking for Milohica.
Yes.
That's not me.
Ah,
Oh, can I talk to them?
I can see if he's available.
That would be great, thank you.
A young, like, very thin man dressed in what looks kind of like jester's garbs comes rushing up. The dwarf leans in, says a few things to him, and the jester goes running off. Please, take a seat.
Sure will.
And he gestures over to some chairs.
Do you have any pets here in these parts?
Some people have pets, yes.
Do you have pets? Do you like pets?
No.
Oh. That's a bummer. You should try them. They're nice.
No, they're not. They get in
Wow.
your garbage. They eat your food. Food is for me.
now you know.
Hmm.
After a few minutes, the jester comes running up. He wants to know what questions you're here about.
Oh, it's a few things. It would probably be easier if we could talk to him directly, but we won't take up too much of his time.
I'm sorry, miss. I'm not allowed to let you through if you're not going to give me details about your visit.
He bought a painting, but then I know it was recently rescinded from him because they had said that before he bought it, it was stolen, and so we're trying to help solve this problem of fenced goods.
Okay, the jester goes running off, and then a few minutes later, he comes back down and he waves for you guys to follow. You may go with him.
Okay.
Please, though, sign the book.
Huh.
And he
You want my
turns a
autograph?
book. He slides a book forward. The book asks for your name, the current date, and your signature.
I don't know the date, but
Your character would likely know the date, or he'll clarify the date for you as you sign the book.
You can just sign our business name, right?
Each of you individually needs to sign.
Okay.
I'm gonna sign my name, and I'm gonna put third partner in our business name.
Okay.
I'm gonna, for now on, I refer to myself as a partner in Epic.
Okay. Is everybody signing with their name?
Yes, Harcourt the
Not Harcourt.
Magnificent.
Okay.
Nice.
I am signing Harcourt the Magnificent.
I signed
the
Pax,
magnificent evener.
Pax, the pet clothing designer. Or pet clothing proprietor. Or
Alright.
Pete.
I just put Gelfian.
Okay.
You should drink this hot chocolate water before it's lukewarm.
cools off.
I'll come get it when we finish up this segment. The five of you are led up a few flights of stairs, and eventually, the jester motions towards a door, takes a couple of soft knocks at it, and the door opens, and standing behind it is a rather large, well put together, orcish man with almost jewel colored skin.
What jewel?
Very greenish, maybe like a jade. Please come in.
Why, thank you, good sir.
He invites you in, and as you step in, you notice that this has a very like old school kind of atmosphere. The walls look like they are chiseled stone, with the lighting that's within the room looking as though they're torches, kind of filling the room with light. He has a very large full plate suit of full plate, standing in a corner of the room. A massive table in another room that you can see in the distance that looks like it probably seats 20.
How is everything? Is everything on theme, Steve, or is it a mishmash of styles and components?
Everything here is on theme. It is very medieval in kind of design, and it's like somebody went out of their way to like make sure they were buying the exact right thing for what the overall like stonework should be. Does anybody have a praise?
I think.
Or
maybe Zug does. Let me check. Yes, Zug does.
I'll let you go ahead. Give me an appraise. You know, a lot of this stuff would be very expensive. Everybody else can give me a sense motive, unless somebody has ranks in knowledge interior design. Jesus, what's with all the...
Pax, I feel like you missed out. Did mine go through?
Yeah, it did. So Meg, yeah, you definitely know that like there was a lot of work put into making this kind of have a very specific feel. As you walk in, you feel very much so like you've walked into a completely different time period.
I'm going to on the accent country too.
I'm going to say, well, I will say, this is an effectively designed room. Gnomes are sensitive to an artistic flair, and it's rare to see someone so thoroughly dedicated to a running theme. I compliment you on your room.
Thank you. I enjoy surrounding myself with this architecture. It's quite soothing to me. It reminds me of family long gone.
Wow, I bet there's a story there.
There is.
I want to hear it.
So, this is about the work that I had acquired. Yes.
That is correct.
I knew I shouldn't have, but I wanted the piece for a long time. It was the perfect fit. This wonderful tapestry that just went so well with the rest of what I've put together. Many don't know its real value, but I'd spent a lot of time researching it. It comes from the era long ago, when the dwarves used to run this land. The dwarven king sat on his throne, and this was one of the tapestries that hung behind him, a symbol of his rule of the country of a time long past.
This guy's an orc, right?
Yes.
Or is this guy a dwarf?
He seems to be orcish. He gestures to the place on his wall where the tapestry once hung. They were brutal when they came in. It took me days to put everything back together. I had to prove purchase for everything else as they bought it. I can't believe anyone would have even bothered. How could they have known it was worth anything? It's a shame.
I'm so sorry. That sounds really stressful.
It was.
When did this happen?
But a few days ago.
And who did you buy it from?
This rather strange gentleman. I was looking at an art gallery some time ago, looking at a piece that had been there for some time. And this young man mentioned to me another piece that I knew of, the piece that I eventually acquired, and he and I went back and forth about some things. It's very peculiar. He was a elvish boy, but spoke in a very clear dwarven accent.
Huh.
He discussed the tapestry as if he had held it himself. As we talked more and more, I became very enthralled by the idea of having it. I've always wanted the right-looking tapestry, and I've looked at a great number of facsimiles that people have produced, but this was an authentic.
So he just came up to you in an art gallery?
Yes.
When were you there?
This was about 2 cycles ago. I believe it was the 11th or 12th. I think it was the 12th, actually.
The 12th is... Did you buy it the same day that you met him?
No, I spoke to him on the 12th. He mentioned a few days later via... There was a messenger that arrived with this. He walks over and he opens up a drawer. A cup. And he slowly pulls out a piece of paper and he sets it down on the... Or he hands it off to you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's no languages you've ever seen before. Give me a perception.
Wow, no language I've seen before. What the frick?
Or a...
Man.
Give me... Actually, Meg should probably give me a linguistics.
Oh, look, roll 20 crapped out. Hooray.
Yay, roll 20.
It's an elder dragon.
Okay. So Pax, you start noticing it's very difficult at first to identify what it is that you're looking at. But with Harcourt's assistance, the two of you start recognizing that it's the typeface for each letter is different. Like, somebody was using a very specific calligraphy to get the font just right for each letter, and as you go through, you can kind of isolate things out. And Meg, once they start realizing this, you immediately notice that this is a letter that has both. You don't have. Oh no, you do have orc. I was going to say you don't have orc.
How am I going to help Galfine find a decent man if I don't speak orc?
Ooh, you don't have dwarven though. You do not yet have dwarven. So you recognize half the characters, like spelling out some kind of word, some words in Orcish.
Mm-hmm.
But you're pretty sure with that linguistics that the other language probably converts to dwarvish words, as some of them are very similar to Aklo words in origin.
I can read the part that is in Orcish. I can't read the part in Dwarf. It's done kind of in an Aklo style. Does anybody here speak Dwarf?
Yep,
That
I do.
would be me.
Okay. So the two of you can read the other half of this, and together you can put together that this is a message that basically reads, I've decided I wish to sell. If you're interested, please bring 60,000 gold to this location. I should have backed out when I realized what I was looking at. But I mean, it felt so like it felt like I was living a fantasy that I've wanted. Getting to kind of buy a piece of old era art that went perfect with where I lived. This letter itself is almost a work of beauty. When back in the days when the first alliances began between orc and dwarf, this was how they would communicate. They would intersperse letters with each other in a way to send messages to keep other families from being able to know what was going on. When the dwarves first started to come out of the world below and started to inhabit the overland, this is how the first families found partnership.
How?
Each item is tailor-made toward the target.
What were you like? How did you know there was something wrong? You had said you should have backed out, but how did you realize that?
Because what need for secrecy would there be if I was buying this legitimately?
Above board. Yeah.
Yes. But I figured what could go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
No one would know about it. I'm sure no one would miss it. But clearly I was incorrect. It's not the money that hurts, it's it being gone that hurts.
You had it and then you lost it.
Yes.
Do you want a hug?
No, thank you though.
You just
Quick
seem sad. I
question:
thought
what does
I
he
would
look
offer.
like through the monocle?
Through the monocle, let me look at my notes real quick. He would show up as a soft blue color.
I think you could. I think you're crafting a character akin to King Lear there. I keep wanting to ask him if he likes sulfur meat. I love this orc.
I've actually never read King Lear.
Oh, it whether you meant to or not, it reminds me of Pining for a Day Before. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I kind of just want to hang out with him.
I know. So tell me about the good old days, Grandpa.
I feel like you should offer us like hot chocolate.
No, an ancient version of hot chocolate. You know what I mean? This is the hot chocolate they drank at the Blanding Gate. You know what I mean? Where orc and dwarf sat together and quaffed hot chocolate.
Except that orcs and dwarves would not drink hot chocolate.
I know. It's just hot mead. Oh, God. Hot mead. Ugh.
Deep gray. Is it too late to ask what the girl who did real estate, what she looked like through the monocle?
No.
I'm wearing the monocle all the time, and I've already said that.
Not at all. She has a soft yellow.
She was soft yellow as
Yes.
Hmm. And the cops got this is out of character. And the cops got wind of this. How did we ever act?
So a number of items from the GPPF after they had disappeared were like a list of the items were brought to the attention of the authorities.
Oh, kind of like they do now. On the lookout for items.
Correct.
Kind of thing.
The difference here is part of what I had alluded to earlier when you and Pax had gone to work and talked to one of the officers from there. The forensic structure from here is much more enhanced. So they have much more improved versions of like object location that happens. And here in Ruxpin, they have access to more of that magic and items of that nature because of the amount of money that exists within the Ruxpin family. And so they're kind of able to pinpoint, like, here's where we've identified the items' signatures to be coming from. And then from there, they can kind of track it the rest of the way.
They got access to locate item magic.
Yes. Very powerful locate item magic, because they would be identifying things that potentially they hadn't seen. They just have a description of the name of.
Wow. Wow. Sorry. So even the letters sent to the targets are designed to pull them in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the letters and the objects.
And the objects. It's like somebody can discern somebody's heart's desire, sets it up in such a way that they can't resist it. It's too good to pass. Everything about it is there. And
So
then
are they
get
just
mad.
targeting people who they know have a lot of money, or what?
Are we having the conversation in front of this guy?
No. It's all
Probably not.
bottle messages.
All right. Well, let's take a short break so you guys can mill this over. We'll see where you want to go from here.
Come
All
get
right.
your lukewarm chocolate.
I will indeed.
Right, yeah. I might be in a couple extra minutes. I'm gonna brew